year. We're on the 29th of Cheshvan. Chavtet Cheshvan marks the Hilula of a great Greek rabbi. His name was Rabbi Chaim Rachamim Yosef Franco. Zecher Tzadik Libracha. He was nicknamed Hacharif, really, really great rabbi. Born in English year 1835. He passed away on the 21st of November in English year 1900, right at the start of the 20th century. He'll become a great rabbi of the famous rabbi of the city of Hebron, one of the four holy cities of Israel, along with Tiberias, Tzvat, and Jerusalem. And he would become, let's say, the head of the congregation, of the Sephardic congregation inside the city in of itself, and will found the Beit HaCholim Chesed Abraham in Hebron, the hospital in of itself. Let's explore some of the highlights of the great rabbi's life. Now, he was born in Rhodos, in a Greek island, in the, I believe, the English year 1835, and he would actually learn under auspices of some of the great rabbis of that island in of itself. That, as they say, an E, they call an island in Hebrew. Then, I believe, come what the year 1863, he would already be towards the end of his 20s. Rabbi Franco would actually travel around various different, let's say, Jewish communities in Bulgaria, and would actually do, as let's say, a Shluchei D'Rabbanan position in of itself, because he was raising money to establish Beit Knesset and synagogue in Rhodos, respectively, and to strengthen the community over there. So he would also travel and give chizuk to the Jewish communities in Bulgaria, which really, I would assume, inspired the Bulgarian Jewry in of itself. And then by the year 1868, he would have been about 32, 33 years of age. He would actually make aliyah and move to the land of Israel, and he would travel with his wife, Rabbanit Esther Mazal Tov, and I think she happens to actually be, if I'm not mistaken, the daughter of Rabbi Raphael Yitzchak Yisrael, who was another great rabbi who we should speak about, of Rhodos in of itself, of Greece, and was also the head of Jewish court, I believe, in Jerusalem. He would also come with his two sons, I think, Rab Ben Zion and Harab Meir, and his daughter, Clara, and they would actually move and settle in Jerusalem. And it was actually interesting, he'll be immediately appointed as part of the Chaver Bet Din, the Jewish court in of itself. I think of the great Rabbi Yaakov Shaul Elishar, who I believe happened to be a Rishon LeZion till the English year 1906 from 1893 respectively, and would become the head of the Jewish court in Jerusalem. Very, very prominent position and really great auspices, let's just say, in of itself. And he would serve on this Bet Din along with other great rabbis, including Rabbi Shalom Moshe Chai Gagin, another great rabbi we've spoken about before, who passed away in English year 1883. Great, one of the famous Shluchei D'Rabbanans of Jerusalem, and the author of many Piyutim, and the famous Kabbalist in the famous Yeshivat Amukobalim Bet El. Then it's actually interesting. I think there was a Chavad Selet newspaper, I believe, where actually interesting, many people would actually, I believe, contribute to various different printing presses in of itself. And they actually state a famous case actually occurred that when I think his family actually and himself arrived in Jerusalem, the Sephardi community were forced to sell, let's say, a large yard adjacent to various different churches inside the city. And he was so shocked by this, he went on a mission, I think as Shluchei D'Rabbanan, to try and purchase back this land. I think he would go as a Shluchei D'Rabbanan to various different parts of Spain, if I'm not mistaken, to Turkey, to Austria, various different places. And I believe it's actually interesting, he actually would encounter, famously enough, let's say, I think in Austria, this was in Vienna, if I'm not mistaken, the Franz Joseph Harishon, the first, Franz Joseph the first, let's say the Caesar of Austria in of itself. He would have a meeting with them, and I think it was a successful meeting, and he was able to redeem, let's just say, this courtyard in of itself back for the Jewish congregation in of itself. They were community was able to purchase this land of in of itself. Franz Joseph, the first emperor of Austria, was he was very well traveled and let's just say very well connected and very, very charismatic, seemingly enough. And then as time progressed on, I believe in the English year, Hebrew year, Hetaf Reish Lamed Vav, this would have been about 1875, 1876, he would go as part of Shluchei D'Rabbanan, traveling to raise funds for Hebron. I think he would go to Algeria, he would go to Tunisia, and also to Libya, respectively, all these countries, in order to raise funds and give chizuk to these various Jewish communities also, and to really promote Hebron in of itself, that city. Then in the English year 1878, he was appointed to become the rabbi of the Sephardi congregation of Hebron, a very prominent position. Over there, we have to say, and remember, at that point in time, Hebron, as we stated before, is one of the 4 holy cities in Israel, and he really strengthened the community in of itself, and really did a huge amount of great work. Now, I believe it happened to be afterwards, in the English year 1893, he would actually establish the famous hospital, the Beit HaCholim, as they say, Chesed LaAbraham. I think this was named after Rabbi Avram Azulay, another great rabbi, great Mukubal he happened to be. I think he was a grandfather of the famous Chidan. In fact, we actually did a video only, I think, within last week within regards to Avram Azulay, because it was his Hilul also in this month of Cheshvan in of itself. And it's actually, I think this place now is known as a Beit Hadassah, if I'm not mistaken, and I think it's based in Hebron in of itself. Now, he passed away, I believe that I can hear reading different opinions. One place said he passed away in the year 1900, another place said he passed away in the English year 1901, but he was buried in Hebron, in this Jewish cemetery over there. It's actually, just to add on other important things, the rabbi that would replace him as the Sephardic rabbi of the Hebron Jewish community in himself was Rabbi Chaim Hizkiah Medini, another great rabbi we've spoken about before, the author of the Shadech Ahmad, really great books in of itself, and a great rabbi. His sons were, let's say, famous people, like to say, in the Hebron community. Now, unfortunately, the 1929 riots, the massacre, really did, unfortunately, I believe, hit his family bad, and unfortunately his daughter and his son-in-law, Rabbi Hanoch Hasson, who we've spoken about before, I think were murdered during the cruel anti-Semitism that actually took place during that 1929 riots, and unfortunately very, very sad episode this was, definitely in Jewish history and in Israeli history in of itself. And more can be related within regard, he himself, I think, was the head of the Jewish court, Rabbi Hanoch Hasson, in Hebron, which was in of itself, it was a very, very prominent position. And we mentioned about Rabbi Hanoch Hasson, I think his Hilula happened to be, he passed away in August, and Yud Chet Av. So we actually did a video, I think, on him, not this year, I think the previous year, we covered a video within regards to the great Chacham. I think he was, at the time of passing, he himself happened to be around 62 years of age. Rabbi Hanoch Hasson was really, really great rabbi, and I'd recommend everyone to search more about him, more information. His son, Rab Meir, I think remained, let's say, one of the remaining few rabbis of Hebron at that point in time, and he actually would take on prominent positions inside the city, managing let's just say, any important issues in the city for a significant period of time, if I'm not mistaken. After that, I think he went to Jerusalem. Now, most notably, I believe his grandson, the son of Rabbi Raphael Nissim, was Avram Franco. I think Avram Franco in himself was a public figure, an educator, and was actually very active also within the Jewish settlement in Hebron, especially during the 20th century in itself, and was a Sephardic community committee, like a legal advisor, secretary of the Jerusalem municipality, and had various different other important roles. So Avram Franco happened to be his grandson, and I believe Avram Franco passed away in English year 1993. He lived about 96 years of age. Very, very great personality in of itself. He actually happened to be. Okay, now let's explore. He actually wrote different Torah works in the seven, including the Rachamim, which is a She'elot and Shuvot, questions and answers book, on the Arba Turim. I think it was divided up in 2 Chalakim and was printed in Jerusalem. Then the Yitzbor Yosef, which was gatherings of different laws, let's just say, on the Shas, questions of the Shas. There was a Midat Rachamim, which was Drushim, explanations. Yosef Chai, also Drushim. Then there was a Ot Rachamim, and various different Chidushei Torah novelties in of itself. I think was printed in the famous Ha'asaf newsletter in of itself called the Torah Mitzion, if I'm not mistaken. So it was a really great rabbi. Chaf Tet Cheshvan happens to be the great rabbi's Hilula. He was about 66 years of age of passing. I read somewhere else that he passed away in the 10th of November 1901, contrary to the 21st of November 1900, which I stated at the beginning of the video itself. So there's differing opinions on the exact date he passed away, but he was a great rabbi. We've covered already on this series maybe about 15-20 videos of great rabbis from Greece. We've covered nearly 500 videos of great Sephardi rabbanim of yesteryear. Please everyone subscribe to the channel, like the video, share the videos. We're a community here learning about the great rabbis of yesteryear. So wishing you all well here from Israel.